She was a sweet lady. Yeah. Sorry. If you're out there listening, Ninny, I hope you're doing well still in heaven or wherever, reincarnated or whatever, you know. Yeah. I mean, I was talking to my cousin the other day about heaven and hell and the existence of God and everything. I was like, what if Ninny forgot to ask for forgiveness for saying fuck the day before she went senile and now she's burning in hell, Scott? I was like, how does that make sense? He's like, yeah, you got a point there. I hope Ninny's not in hell.
Just gotta wait till you get there.
Yeah. I was like, what if we go up to heaven and we're like, oh, this really is paradise. Where's Ninny? And St. Peter's like, oh, she forgot to ask for forgiveness for that F-bomb she dropped just before she went senile and her liver went. So she's burning for all eternity.
You think you're going to make it to heaven?
No, I don't think there is a heaven. So.
No, I know. But I was saying if there was one, you were saying that you were going to make it up there.
If I suppose I'll cover all my bases, of course. Say I'm lying on my deathbed, I'll make an honest and meaning, and I'll mean it, and ask God to forgive me for all my sins, and just fingers crossed that hey, if He exists, then let's cover all my bases, all the gods, really. I'll give a shout out to Zeus and Apollo.
No pork
whoever.
On your last day, just in case.
No pork, no shellfish, no pork. Make sure I'm wearing all
cotton, no mixed. Fabrics.
What are the Mormons? The Mormons have that special underwear. I'll strap some of that on. I'll get one of those head wraps. I guess I'll get
I believe it's called a towel head.
Yeah. I'll get a towel head. I think towel hod. I don't know. I can't. There's a in there that I'm just not good at. You got to eat a lot of goat eyeballs. To get
right
that
after you fuck it.
Well, of course, and I mean, as you do, I love that. It's I really do believe that. Yeah. That's the thing about all those religions, especially Christianity, where it's like, well, if so basically Charles Manson could make an honest and meaningful, he could convert and truly ask for forgiveness for all the awful things he did, and he would go to heaven, but. My grandma would go to hell if she forgot to ask for forgiveness for, say, taking the Lord's name in vain or something, or some minor sin. That never made sense to me. And the idea of being happy with heaven, how could there be a paradise that didn't involve your loved ones? Like, what if my dad doesn't make it, or if my mom and my sister make it to heaven? Then how's it going to be paradise then? Right?
Oh,
if my mom and my sister are not burning in hell for all eternity, if I got to live with them for all eternity, then it's like, well, I'm fucked. Yeah. Doesn't work either.
I'm sure heaven's pretty big. You don't got to live across the street. But what were you
no,
talking
I
about
imagine...
is, that fucked with me as a kid, because I went to a religious school, and my mom was religious when I was little, and I was terrified of hell going there, and my even though I thought my bases were covered, or I could never know, because if I had an impure thought and I was 10, I was like, fuck, or no, I did it again, and then just confess real quick just to be safe. And my mom took me to a Christian psychologist for it, so I could talk about my fears of hell and of everybody burning in hell. And I got there, and what a psychologist should be saying is you know what? Those are unfounded fears. It's not real. It's gonna be okay. Your family members, your grandma and grandpa, they're not gonna burn in hell for all eternity. But after I spilled the beans to him, saying I'm just worried that I'm gonna burn in hell, and everybody I love is gonna burn in hell, and I just don't know what to feel about it. And the guy was I looked up to this guy because he's an adult, and he's like, well, that is a very real fear.
Oh my god.
and I was just oh no,
shit,
fuck, yeah. Even this guy.
I thought there was a chance. I was getting ahead of myself. But you're afraid of it too. Oh. It's such bullshit. You should get into religion for that. That shouldn't be the reason that you have faith. It shouldn't be at the point of a gun or at the point of a threat of eternal damnation. It should be for the positive aspects of religion, which all religions have.
I'm pretty uneducated on the topic, and I don't really have faith, and that's part of the challenge. Without insulting anyone, allow me to insult people. I feel like most of religion falls apart even under very basic critical thinking, right? If you look at the stories that they hang to and what little I do know of it, there seems to be a selective all or nothing kind of thing. There are people who will just demand that Noah's Ark actually happened and all the animals and shit like that. There are people who really cling to the idea that Earth is only 6,000 years old. And that stuff just completely falls apart under any kind of critical thinking. And, you know, my father, who's very religious, will say, you know, you haven't been given the gift of faith yet. You know, he has hope that I'll turn around. And I don't know how that can happen, because like in every other aspect of my life, I just apply a little bit of critical thinking to figure out where I'm going on this thing, right? If the transmission of my car doesn't work, I don't suspect God. If the, you know, weather turns rainy, I suspect that moist, humid air has hit some cooler air. I don't say God, you know, I don't just turn to God for all the things I don't understand. And if, and in the things that God does seem to handle, like the afterlife, I look for some modicum of proof, and it all falls apart. If you know, in the proof they do come up with, like Jesus burnt into some toast or something, it just, or Virgin Mary burnt into toast.
I see.
That just doesn't hold up for me in this.
I didn't know what you meant at first. I was like, I'm thinking back to my Bible school, and I'm like, they didn't burn him or anything.
No. And it's just, you know, and the whole, like, Jesus is his own dad, but he's his son, and then there's a Holy Ghost in there, and the whole, like, nothing about it makes any sense to me, and the slightest amount of critical thinking tears it apart. But I will say that there are people who have faith, and it's hard for me not to look at them and be like, yeah, well, they only have it because they're not thinking it through. But there are people who have faith, and it brings them great joy. It brings them a kind of like soulful happiness, comfort, like a peace that, you know, that without faith you kind of don't have. You're more like, well, this, you know, what I see is what I get, and this is where I stand on this thing, and that's that.